Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Demolition, where we'll be taking a look at bands with a series of demos and see how they evolve before the debut. And the band we're going to be taking a look at today is Tiamat, when they were called Treblinka, and obviously they changed the name for very obvious reasons. You know, Treblinka is not a very friendly name, and the way that Tiamat went, that would be very ironic for them. But however, let's take a look at their two demos that they had when they were called Treblinka. Those two demos are Crawling in Vomits and The Sign of the Pentagram. Sorry about that. Now, these are two very different demos. However, they're very unique and very, very much important to the history of the band, as it will show how they evolved as they went along. And we'll start with their first demo, obviously, Crawling in Vomits. And the first thing you'll know is that they have a very thin guitar tone on this album. And obviously I think that this kind of fits it, and some people might be driven away by it, but when I look at the album cover, the thin guitar tone almost gives me this torture chamber kind of vibe to it, which is what the album cover is. It has, the rotting skull and very cross and the chains and all that. And I feel like that fits that all perfectly. And along with this, you have very well produced kind of sound to it. And that's odd for, a band with their first demo. And with that, you could hear all the instruments. You could hear the guitars, you could hear the bass, you could hear the vocals, you could hear the drums, everything. Everything's perfectly saturated the way it should be. Now, obviously, everyone likes their demos, nasty and raw and gritty, and while I like that too, this is a very neat surprise for me. And the music here, you're asking, what about the music? Well, the music here, I'd say, is very similar to the Brazilian thrash scene, which includes bands like Sarcófago, Sepultura, and Holocausto. And with that, I say that it has a very unique sound to it. They put a unique sound to it, like the Swedish thing, because bands like Nihilist and Carnage were releasing demos at the time. And with that, there's a bit of mixture in there. There's kind of a bit of cross-contamination almost. And with that, you kind of have a weird mixture of Brazilian thrash and Swedish, death metal. And that's kind of where they got the Black Death label from, because of a cross kind of pollination. And with that, you have killer riffs. Just really evil, really beefy, really vicious stuff. It's just so amazing. And with that, we have The Sign of the Pentagram. This one's a bit more vicious. This one's a bit more thick in its production. A lot more fuzzy, too. And it's a lot more... This is where they kind of go more into the Swedish death style. And there's kind of almost no black metal here, almost. It's very weird with how they went about this. And it's another very solid demo if you're into Swedish death metal like Carnage and Entombed and Nihilist, or whatever bands were at that time, Unleashed. You will love this. It's, very punky, but has a lot of grindcore in it as well. A lot of the Swedish bands were very rooted in grindcore and punk, and these guys are no exception. Well, they're obviously, very rooted in Brazilian, thrash metal, but they obviously have a lot of punk in there too. And it's especially apparent with this demo. And with that, they kind of transitioned into the debut with this sound, with a more clear production, but still kind of raw and gritty, a lot more well written and well kind of thought out songs and all of that. There's a lot of synth work on the debut too, which kind of will appear into their more gothic sounding stuff and all that stuff. And with that, that is the first episode of Demolition. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you all in the future.